Dear students, I welcome you all for the online learning platform for the course Warehousing Automation. So, by means of series of lectures, we finished 2 units and now we are in the learning of unit 2, and within which we are going to learn about the chapter 6 service level management. Okay, so this presentation will take us towards the next chapter, service level management, how it is going to affect the warehousing automation case, as well as how the queuing theory is going to help us to rectify the issues, and how service what we do at the lower level, the managerial skills what we do, so that the process of automation is going to be on the good case, and the pitfalls what we face is going to be fine tuned. May not be 100% reduced, but still it can be fine tuned. So now we'll directly get into the content. So this is what the topic what we are going to learn: service level management. In short, it is called as SLM. So we'll get into the presentation. So SLM is the process of defining, monitoring and managing the performance standards required to meet business goals and customer expectations. So now here what is going to be the customer expectation is the order fulfillment in a warehousing case. So here what basically we are going to do is we shall understand the same in two contexts. The first context is as such we'll know what is this SLM, then how it is applied into a warehousing case in the context of queuing theory. So both these things we'll learn. Okay, so the first thing is in a very business perspective or from a managerial perspective. First, what is service level management is, see, we have got two aspects. The aspect is we run any business on some policies. For example, we wanted to generate some revenue. Likewise, we'll have some policies to fulfill some so and so customer requirements in one particular geographical location or in one particular product. Likewise, we'll have our own requirement. So now what is the fundamental case here is our services should be very prompt enough. Service means, do not think that after sales we do, of course it's going to be a routine part, but here it is not with respect to that service. Here is how exactly you receive the order and how come you are going to give service at all walks of the process. Okay, this is what the general understanding what you should have. SLM, service level management. So first context is you receive a customer, how do you treat your customer? That is what is the first context. Now second context is with respect to automation in warehouse case, how we should understand this particular case is the ways and means, the methodologies what we adopt in order to increase the services, so that the automation is going to function in a very smooth case. Okay, I hope you are understanding. So first context is how do you treat your customers, how do you offer your services, maybe technologically, maybe with respect to humanitarian grounds, that is human factors. Likewise, how do you treat your customer, the ways and mechanisms what you adopt in order to retain the business is the first case, SLM. The second case is, that is with respect to warehousing automation cases, you receive the order and how are you going to offer the services so that you are going to ensure the customer is getting satisfied as well. You are going to offer a platform for continued business. See, if your services are very worst, okay, if your services are very worst, do you think the customer will come back to us? Definitely the answer is going to be no. So we should provide all sorts of benefits, all sorts of services in a very organic manner, that they should come to us time and again. So that is what SLM here is. So now from the warehousing context we'll understand for the rest of the presentation. So the first thing is, it is going to take out to one particular case where we are going to define the standards. What all are the standards are we going to adopt? Then how are we going to monitor the order what the customer has placed to it, and how are you going to manage that performance standards? Okay, so now in a very simple case, let me put in order to understand this. See, on an e-commerce platform, we are ordering something against some payment mechanism. Say you would have prepaid the order, or you would have given one thing called as a COD, okay, cash on delivery. Upon delivery you are going to pay him the money. Likewise, you have decided, let us put like this. So now what is the basic understanding is, you paid. First case, you have paid. Do you get the receipts? Do you get the order summary? Do we get the customer tracking policies, something like that. So some WhatsApp link or we get by means of mail. So when we click onto it, it will take us to that particular way. We can see the order summary. Then we can see what is the status of progress. The item has been picked, it has been shipped, it is in the transit, it has reached to so and so place. So likewise, you get all sorts of things. This is what SLM is all about. Why? Because you are appraising your customer based on the work what you do, not just merely you just give him all sorts of status, something like that. The product will be delivered, not in a very vague way. After it will be delivered after some 1 week or 10 days or something like that. No. Why? Because they should feel that they are part of the process. That is what is very essential in this regard. So that is what SLM is going to deal all about. Okay. So with this understanding, I'll take you to the next thing. So again, before I get into it, so first thing is customer is having some sort of expectations. So how are you going to meet the expectations? There is no standard mechanism. There is no standard methodology. As a service provider, we are supposed to define our own standards, monitor our own standards, and ensure that KPIs are continuously improved. So this we have learned in the previous unit. So key performance indicator is going to be a mandatory among all the things, because everything should be accountable, everyone should be responsible, so that we stick to the targets and we refine the targets, we revise the targets based on the competition or based on the customer requirements likewise. So how are we going to do? So why is this a lot in this regard is SLM is having two perspectives. Perspective number one is the traditional business what we see in across all walks of life, and second thing is in the context of warehousing automation. So both these understandings are essential for the proper understanding of SLM. So with this understanding, now I will go for the next slide. Okay. So in warehousing, SLM should ensure that the automated operations, the major what we have is 4. So PPSS, picking, packing, sorting, shipping, are aligned with performance targets such as order accuracy, fulfillment speed, inventory availability, system update. Okay. So here these things are not static characteristics. These things are dynamic characteristics. Why do we use the term dynamic? Is they change with respect to time. They change with respect to time. Let me go right from the reverse. Okay. The first case. We have got some 10 products in our rack. Now 5 products we have received order say by 10 a.m. The moment you have switched on the system, you have received some 5 orders. So now as a warehousing automation engineer, what should I do is immediately we should check the balance what we have got, inventory balance what we have got. So we have got WMS, we check it and we found to know that 10 products are with us. And now how many orders we have received? 5 orders we have received. Immediately what we should do is we should have an AIDC mechanism, automatic identification and data capture mechanism, take out 5 parts, and immediately the system should be updated to show only 5 parts, so that whoever wants to order after 10:01, because first order we have received by 10, so maybe some 1 minute of standby time might be considered. So by 10:01 it should be updated in the system. So whoever customers views that particular website, they should see the products available is only 5. Okay, that is where you are going to get customer satisfaction. If somebody else has ordered some 6 numbers, let us put like this. Okay, now we know we have got only 10, 5 has already been earmarked for one customer and second customer has ordered some 6. So we are lacking by 1 product. There is a deficit of 1 product. So this is not customer satisfaction. Okay, they would have paid for us and we can't give them a very lame excuse that only 5 products are there, please accept these 5 products, 1 product I will refund. No, that is not advisable. Or other case, you can't pacify him, you wait for 1 more product, now I will send 5 attestage and 1 maybe after some week or 10 days. No, nothing is permitted. That is what SLM is all about. So that is what system update is. If you are having a dynamic characteristics inside a system, the moment order has been reviewed against payment or whatever may be the thing, even the order can get cancelled at a later duration. Don't worry about any of these things. The system should have a dynamic characteristics that the moment you receive an order, you minus it. Okay, so I'll give you another classical example in this. I hope everyone would have had an experience with respect to IRCTC ticket booking. Okay, especially with respect to Tatkal, which morning 10 AC opens and 11 o'clock morning non-AC opens, right? So the moment you log in and you get into that particular train, that particular reservation, what you wanted to have, say AC or whatever case, the moment when you book and you feed in, you feed in the customer details, you can see 100 seats available and there will be an asterisk will be there. That asterisk somewhere in the bottom of the web page, when you see, it is not fixed. It is going to change. Okay, there are some classical scenarios that where the moment you log in, say some 100 seats will be shown, maybe in due course of payment what will happen, it will become waiting list. There are chances are there are several scenarios are there, so they warn you, but not in a very majority of the case, but they give you some sort of hint here and there. Okay, so that is some service sector, that is okay. Though warehousing is also service sector, we can't do so because that's a government part. Okay, and this is not so. So system update means, or uptime means, with the least possible frequency, that time has to be fixed. So here what the example I told is 1 minute. So in industrial cases even seconds also may be considered. So that is system uptime. And second thing is inventory availability, dynamic, immediately within some least possible time, some seconds. Maybe seconds may not be possible, at least some minutes. Okay, I'll tell you the industrial standard minute is single minute. So single minute means don't understand only 1 minute. No, single digit of minute, that is 9 minutes. 9 minutes are permitted. So at the end of 9th minute, that is the cushion, that is the bracket what has been given, so that within that particular time it should be made available. Then the moment you receive some order, okay. So inventory availability means not only with respect to dynamic characteristics, some product would have arrived. That might be in the case of shipping process, and it would have been inbound logistics, it would have been received to the warehouse, and that has to be immediately updated, and the time permitted is 9 minutes. Clear? So within 9 minutes, the order must be, quantity must be cross-checked, the quality must be cross-checked, and it has to be properly stored in that, and immediately the data should be made available into the website. So this is second. Then third, fulfillment speed. This is another important as well as interesting characteristics. That means you have received an order, within what speed the order is shipped. This is another important fact. See, you get an order, you got the product, everything is available, packing material is available, packing people are available, you have got a shipping process, third party logistics, 3PL, everything is available, but you have not done anything. So is it first of all, is it accepted from an industrial perspective? Means the answer is definitely not. Okay, so fulfillment speed has to be taken care, so least possible, but there is no as such no standards. Why? Because the nature of product, the safety standards, the local taxonomies likewise might be one cause here. Then the fourth very important thing, order accuracy. Order accuracy means the part what you ship to the customer should be of the specification what they have asked. Maybe color, specification, the technical specifications, the packing requirements, likewise several things are there. Again, I will come out with one particular way. For example, in a warehouse case where they have ordered some steel parts, okay, steel parts. So in a warehousing case, steel parts will be preserved under some regulations. The regulations are some anti-corrosive or corrosive resistance coating, a thin film of say a grease or oil would have been given. So the moment you send the same to a customer, there might be some scenario where it need to be cleaned. We should clean thoroughly and then it has to be packed. Maybe that might be a standard, or you should have some extra grease to it, then you should pack likewise. So all these things should be taken care. And while transit, the product should not get damaged at any cost. At any cost, it is not supposed to get damaged. So that is how the packing should be taken care. The veracity of the packing, the quality of packing should be nicely, thoroughly, it has to be considered. Okay, so these all are the four things from a warehousing perspective, 4 levels. The first is order accuracy, quantity, the specification, the methodology of packing, the local taxonomies, all these things to be considered. Fulfillment speed, within the least possible time the product must be packed and it has to be shipped, that should be leaving the warehouse. Then inventory availability, if there is a outbound, that is movement, immediately that should be updated, not only with respect to inventory availability, even in the customer portal. So the third and fourth one are interlinked to each other. Okay, this is what SLM is all about. The next case, where should we focus? How should we focus? Why? Because see, today majority of the scenario, the taxonomies are very stringent. See, if you are unable to meet out the target because of the cutthroat competition, somebody else will take out the role. We might be in a position to lose our business also. So we should be very cautious enough in this regard. So we'll see one by one. So first, what is the SLM main focus is availability. Okay, availability. Availability means only from warehouse perspective I'm talking, not the product. How do you retrieve the product? What all are the things are you going to use? Maybe robots or conveyors, everything. Warehousing management system, everything should be made available. You should be eagerly waiting for the order. The moment order comes, immediately the order fulfillment activity should be taken place. That is the ultimate objective of warehousing automated or automated warehouse. Okay. The second, performance. So performance means it should be tangible, say it should be measurable, some targets with respect to some time or whatever may be the case. Accuracy. See, accuracy, that is zero errors, zero tolerance on errors. Okay, so usually the industrial standard is 0 ppm. So 0 ppm is the standard, 0 parts per minute. Okay, see, some cases even it has parts per million is also there. That is 1 part million you do, 1 million products you do. So 0 should be the error level. 0 should be the error level. This is what is 0 ppm. Okay, 0 parts per million. 1 million means you should have only 0 errors. 10 lakh products means only 0 error, not even 1. That is the necessity. Okay, then responsiveness. See, responsiveness is one thing where today the industrial standards is the moment you get order within 120 minutes it should leave away the thing. That is the shipping factor. Third party logistics should come. Some cases may be a nature of product or you wait for a batch sometime. So 24 hours is allowed. So usually the same day is going to be there. Okay. Then the capacity. So you should ensure that without any bottleneck, because we have applied queuing theory, we are applying majority of the technicality terms here and we try to solve everything. Capacity should be taken care. Then incident handling. Incident handling means unexpectedly there will be some sort of breakdown will be there. Okay, breakdown might be uncontrollable factor. It is beyond our reach, but still we should be highly responsive to answer for this. Immediately we are supposed to answer that is the problem should be troubleshooted with the least possible time. Okay, so these all are the focuses what SLM is going to have. Then earlier we learned about bottlenecks and congestions, how bottlenecks occurs and how this congestion is going to be there. So first thing is go with SLAs, service level agreements. So SLA means it's an acronym. When it is abbreviated, it is going to be service level agreement. So first case is define the targets. Targets are very important. What is the time you dedicate for that? What is the time you allocate for that? Then monitor them. Have a nicely defined KPI. Have an agreement for that. Then you go ahead with it. So I'll just come with an out of box example. Let us get into some high level restaurants, say some 3-star or 5-star. So in the menu card itself, they would have given the description. For example, you wanted to eat some food. So the description about the food, everything will be there. And beneath, you can see one particular thing, the time frame needed. Okay, time frame. So please bear with us a time of 30 minutes for preparation, for cooking or likewise. Okay, what is the need and necessity here is, well in advance they are giving you a cautionary notice that this item will not be given at any cost with the least possible time. It needs its own time. Okay, so they are preparing us mentally. Good things take time. That's how they prepare us. Okay, on the contrary, when you get into some mass restaurant, anything maybe within least possible time it might be served, but that is not the case of some star rated hotel. Why? Because they are going to start right from scratch. Okay, so that is the thing, but here we can't expect the same thing, but you can prepare the customers. You can come out with some sort of terms initially. This particular product will take so and so time. So likewise, based on the product, if it is not available, we can try to go ahead with this. Then root cause analysis. When there is any deviation with respect to service level agreement, somebody has promised to deliver the product within 5 minutes. If they are unable to do is investigate. What is the reason for such non-compliance? You are given, it was an agreement, it was a mutual win-win situation between both supplier versus the receiver. Why you are unable to do? What is the reason? Some cases the reason might be very valid. Okay, that has to be considered. Say the area would have been flooded, some power cut might be there, something beyond their control. Okay, such things has to be considered, and we should come out with some sort of KPA. That is what is root cause analysis. You identify what are the other mechanisms to solve that particular issue. Capacity planning. So this is another important aspect, capacity planning. You should know what is your capacity. Right now, what is the capacity? Daily, I am able to produce only 1 lakh components with the existing infrastructure, but the demand is 2 lakhs. How do you do the additional 1 lakh? Maybe you can have another setup that is very easy, but the thing is investment part. You can't go with an investment of lakhs together. Okay, so it is going to be huge. So now what will be the immediate activity you can do is maybe you can go for some outsourcing cases, or if it is only for a once, you need not to go with development of your own infrastructure, rather we can go for some outsourcing. Likewise we can go ahead. Then continuous improvement. So this we have been discussing since then long back, where we should develop with respect to time, not the same target, always refine and revise based on the necessary. Then finally accountability. So accountability is who is responsible, when he is responsible, how we will rectify. All such things comes into SLM. Then what all are the key SLMs here? See, SLM means we are defining our own parameters. So no third party or somebody is going to give. We are going to define our own need necessity. So likewise KPI, the first KPI is order cycle time. What is the time you are going to offer for them? That is the moment you receive the order, and what is the time you are going to take with respect to it. So usually in banking sectors, when you go, especially in a nationalized bank or some private bank operators, when you get into some highly not in rural areas, in urban areas, when you go, you can see there is a time chart. If you go for DD, they need some amount of time, say some 15 minutes or so. So likewise for each and every process, standardized process, so there are some time frame which has been given. Now is it a time frame standard? No, it is the time frame as defined by that particular bank, by that management. Okay, and they wanted to go ahead with reduction with respect to time in near future. So that is how they go ahead with. Then peak accuracy. So peak accuracy, you can see the tolerance is just 0.5% of error. So and so product has been asked with so and so specification, color means yes, that has to be picked up properly. So system uptime, so that's the purpose of automation, so that has to be taken care. Throughput per hour, so per day or per shift, or you can set the frequency 1 hour or whatever may be the case. So that target has to be adjusted. If that target has not been adjusted, you should have a alternative plan how to accommodate the missed targets. Then packing station utilization. So usually this is one area, even in the congestion point we just discussed, that is the area where starting of the shift nothing will be there. Maybe with respect to upon receiving orders, it's slowly gets into congestion. So all of a sudden it starts to pour up. So how to tackle this has to be known. And then AMR, autonomous mobile robots utilization. Why? Because it should be always available. It should be in a very effective case, it should be highly available, and we should ensure that charging or other things should not happen during the peak hours. During peak hours, the robot is taken for charging means the ultimate purpose is not solved. So that has to be taken care. Then incident response time. Some unexpected error has come into picture. So within 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes, that has to be taken care. So likewise, we should have our own standards. Now, what is the easy way to do is always have this SLM integrated with the warehouse control system or the management software, because that will show you the countdown time. What is the time? Are you able to do within the time or not? So likewise, we can have a counter time. We can even have automated alerts. So automatically we get the alerts. So this is the time what you are supposed to do, and this is the time what you are unable to do with respect to this. So all such things we can know. So usually for the case of robots and other things, we just go ahead like this. So robot, when it will not be available, likewise we can know. And the other important thing is we will have a dashboards showing the performance. There will be a graph which gets updated with respect to frequency, and the management will be readily knowing what is the status. And root cause. If there is a problem or deficit in one particular performance, immediately that root cause has to be analyzed. Why SLM is matters? First, we'll consider like this. There is no SLM. We don't have any sort of service level management. The first thing is you will not know what is the bottleneck occurring into the process until some customers come out with complaints. They are, say somebody would have ordered for red color, they would have been given with some other color. Okay. Some specification they would have asked for some 8 GB RAM, they would have been given with 4 GB RAM likewise. So then customer starts to complain. Okay. So then we understand if there is no SLM, then there is no accountability. Who was the guy when a green color order has come? Who was the guy to pack red color? When 8 GB was asked, who was the guy to go ahead with 4 GB? Which is system? Who is the bottleneck for all these things? We will not know. Everything goes unnoticed. Okay, so that we should know. And other important thing is, it might be even due to automation system, error in the automation system. Then how can we expect ROI, returns on investments? No, again it is not going to be possible. So these all are the drawbacks when we don't have SLM. On the contrary, when we have SLM, what happens? Yes, the system is highly proactive. It can detect, it can diagnose, and it can immediately warn you the bottlenecks. These all are the bottlenecks what we face. Okay. Then all the things are under the roof of, under the guidance of KPI. So everything is getting noticed, and obviously we can improve the KPIs. And finally, the data what we have got should be optimized. It should be minimized or it should be maximized based on the objectives. So this is why SLM is all about. So now before we close down this presentation, let me summarize. So this presentation took us to SLM. In turn, SLA came into picture, service level agreement, and followed by KPI, definition of KPI, monitoring and continuous improvement of the performance of the KPI we discussed. And the very important thing is what happens in a system when there is no SLM and there is SLM. So that is a crucial understanding what we should take out, especially in the context of automated warehouse. Okay. So with this presentation, we are finishing the 5th chapter, service level management. So though we have got a nicely developed system, but still if the services are very poor, obviously the ROI, the performance, the accountability of the warehouse, automated warehouse goes unnoticed, and it is highly difficult for us to develop a best system. Okay, even we may not be having a better system. So on the contrary, what we can do is we go ahead with a new SLM philosophies, define the policies, then lay out some sort of performance metrics and continuously monitor those performance metrics and ensure that you are able to properly adhere to the requirement of SLM and ensure that everything is scrupulously followed, and finally we get the desired output with extreme customer satisfaction. Okay, so there should not be any sort of tolerance or any sort of unnoticed activity. Everything should be properly gelled up into the process, and we ensure that a nicely automated system with properly optimized parameters. Okay, so thank you all for your kind patience to know this particular topic. So again we'll meet in the next chapter in another online presentation. Okay, thank you students. So as usual, any doubts kindly note it down during our offline classes or during online discussions we might discuss. Still, if you have got any doubts, please come to me, contact me. So I'll be glad to resolve the issues. So thank you students. Thank you all.